Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm Pabs, the Rising VTuber and artist, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of character design. Now, you guys might remember that Has it been that long? I don't feel like it's been that long, actually. Like, a while ago, I actually made a design for myself, kind of inspired by, Sentai heroes called Rise-a-Man. And I started doing some ideas for, monster sketches for that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to be covering today. I've done a few sketches, and the goal of today is to digitize those sketches and have something workable. You may also notice that I now have, at long last, an actual tablet asset. Yes, you may hold your applause, or actually keep it going for a little bit longer if you are clapping. I wouldn't mind. I'm not going to stop you. But I am very excited that I finally have this. I feel like I've been menacing it for a long time. So it's good to finally have it in, finally have something that I can. I'm not actually holding it, right? This is all smoke and mirror, big man behind a curtain kind of thing. But it's still nice to have. All right, so first up is going to be a dude based on Sulfur. So the way this is going to go is, because I don't want these to be super complex sketches, I wanted to try doing it with just the millipen, with just a millipen pen setting. I think these are going to probably be big head on kind of thing, and then maybe a side view up here. And I've made it kind of wide like this because I feel like I'll be more comfortable psychologically with that. I could also try and hang on. Let me see if I've got a picture of these designs handy, because I could just try to bring in the sketch, because I feel like that would be the easiest way to do this. I could do it freehand, but at the same time, making more work for yourself for the hell of it is never a good idea. Okay, I've got some of these, but not the Sulfur one. That's a shame, but well, no, I might have the Sulfur one. Let me double check. One more. Let me check just a little bit longer. Okay, Sulfur, I do not got. I have some other ones though. We'll get to those guys at some point, but for the moment, we'll focus on the Sulfur one. So the idea for the Sulfur one is to kind of is almost like half magma, right? Because sulfur is one of those things that gets cooler when it's on fire. Not thermodynamically speaking. It does not literally cool down when it is on fire. But I mean, it looks cooler when it's on fire. Apparently, when you heat up sulfur, I've never actually handled sulfur in my life because I am not a dude who was a chemistry major. I don't know. Do chemistry majors get to handle sulfur? Is that one of the privileges that they have? I know that there's a thing in chemical engineering majors that the fumes you will be inhaling on this job will be fucking detrimental to your health immediately. But I don't know if that's if that's for if you study high school chemistry, do they let you play with sulfur? A little bit, just a little bit. If you have a cool teacher, maybe. Yeah, I remember one of my teachers. My school did this thing, right, where once you were in high school, you could decide, okay, I want to study biology properly. I want to study chemistry more in depth. I want to study physics more in depth. They let you do that in high school, but when it was one of those schools that had a middle school and a high school. So for the middle school they put you on a rotating program. So you it was both for the sciences and the arts. So you tried a little bit of everything, right? So you would try I have a little eye right here in the middle. This is going to be kind of the quote unquote face, right? Anyway, so the idea was that I imagined that you would try out a couple different things and see what you liked, and then you could pursue those things more in depth in high school. I remember I actually took a little bit of biology. I ended up studying more biology in high school rather than physics or chemistry because I didn't understand. I don't think I was around. I don't remember studying chemistry all that much, to be perfectly honest. I don't remember kind of like ever being in chemistry, ever being a student of chemistry. I remember being a biology student and I remember being a physics student, but I don't remember being like a chemistry student. Yeah, I tried to be a physics guy. I know, like, for some reason, a lot of cartoonists end up being like physics guys, and I thought, like, hey, I like cartoons. I might as well try that out. And I tried it, and it like beat my ass. Like, we got to like maybe the third unit, and I started to realize, like, I was just like looking at the equations for like heat capacity, and I was starting to think to myself, maybe this one's not for me. Maybe this is not the one I'm supposed to be chasing. Yeah, shortly after that, I switched over to biology, and that suited me a lot better. Yeah, mainly because biology is very, at least high school biology, right? In high school biology, you don't have to do like super complex things. Like, it's not like physics where you have to like math and, like components like that. Why did I give this thing like abs? I meant to like give it like these like chevron shapes. Is that what these are called? They're like boomerangs. Actually, no. You know what? No. What the hell? I'll give it abs. Yeah, the idea is that like partway down the middle, it'll start like melting into kind of like hot sulfur. And hot sulfur apparently is kind of more of a liquid and also happens to look a lot like blood, which I think is cool. I think I think it's kind of spooky and cool whenever like an inorganic substance actually resembles an organic substance by a large by a large margin. Especially if it's because of a reason like it was lit on fire. Hmm. No, I feel like the apps are weird. I'll figure it out soon. So for the moment, I think like I'm going to do the arms. Yeah, I don't remember how hard precisely like sulfur is. I don't think it's got like a particularly high rating on the most scale of hardness. I know I do think it's brittle. I'm pretty sure it's brittle because I've seen like dudes mining sulfur and they don't have like jackhammer drills or anything. Didn't mean to move him all the way over there. My bad. Let's see. Hmm. Sometimes it does feel like because of the way that the vector eraser works, I'm just giving these things a fine haircut. Okay. A big hand like this, or I guess big finger. And then maybe like another smaller finger over here. I think that's what this design is going for. I sketched this one out. I sketched out the sulfur one first because I thought that would be like a good one to start with, on account of the fact that sulfur isn't like a particularly like complex substance. Hmm. I do feel like I've made this other arm a little scrawny though. Like this needs to be like a very like physically menacing creature. We can have little bits of it on fire too. Yeah, this is also the alchemical symbol for sulfur. Could you imagine being an alchemist all the way in like set 15, whatever the hell, and being like one of the dudes to invent gunpowder? Like, could you imagine how that must, how like you must feel? Like, you just mixed two different, like, mashed up rocks together and suddenly you've discovered explosions? I would break my arm patting myself on the back for that one. You know, immediately after, probably reconciling the fact that I've just created the worst weapon humanly conceivable. Like, seriously, how scared must the first guy to have discovered gunpowder have been? Like, he's like, ah, yes, a little bit of petered salt, a little bit of sulfur, and then like you hear like a loud like explosion noise, and suddenly like his ears are ringing, and he's like, "What happened?" Hmm. Yeah, the idea for these guys is to have a little bit of kind of tech on each of them. Just a little bit of metallic, and in addition to like whatever they're made out of. I had the idea that like some of them would be more intelligent than others, right? Like these guys are for the most part like pretty mindless organisms, but some of them would have like a little bit more quote unquote intelligence than some of the others. This one, for example, would be like kind of like on the lower end of that spectrum, right? Like they would not be as intelligent. So I figured like it would be like less. I don't know. I feel like this is missing something. I feel like this needs to kind of almost extend. Oh, that would be a good idea, actually. Hang on. Like, what if it extended almost like a lock? Okay. Hang on. Let me rotate this. Because the idea, right, is that these guys are almost entirely made out of that one kind of element that they represent. Sulfur, titanium oxide is another one of them. Hopefully, I'll be able to cover that today. But the idea was to cover, kind of like make them mostly that item, and supplement the usual lack of mobility that chemical has with technology. Yeah. I very explicitly want to avoid making them look like zombies. I just want them to look like how do I put this? Like it's not the machinery that keeps them alive. It's the machinery that like enables them further. Like it like now that doesn't feel right either. Like they are alive and they move of their own volition, but like without the machinery, they would like literally crumble to dust. I think that's kind of my idea. Or shatter or whatever. Yeah, I've got a funny idea for the diamond one based on that, but that's for later. We might. I don't know how many of these we're going to be able to cover. Hopefully, I'll be able to get faster after the sulfur one, because the sulfur one is honestly the one that I had like the least, the fewest, the least like conceptualized. Right, like I had an idea for it, but even that idea was still not fully fleshed out. Like the other ones are much more fixed, set in stone, if you pardon the pun. Let's see. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this over here, and then we're going to extend the metal chunk over here. Hmm. Honestly really like working in Millipen because it gives me ideas for like very cool angles. Like because I can't vary the line width, I have to do more with like the shapes, right? So I have to do cooler angles to compensate for some of those limitations. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I remember a while back I had like this very specific style of Millipen drawing that I liked doing. I should try bringing that back a little. Hmm. I'm gonna remove this like little bit of this little like ember of fire, and I'm gonna make it have like a little cape behind it, or not even cape. Like it's going to be like cloth covering the rest of this part. Hmm. Yeah, but like very specifically, I want them to avoid moving like zombies or like they're in pain moving. Like these things love being alive. It's just that they were like they are still very monstrous. You know, it has to be able to do like the rubber suit kind of action moves that like normal Sentai monsters can do. So while I can do a little bit of this, like I can kind of go a little buck wild with the frame here, I can't go too buck wilder. I wanted them to still like be conceivably like agile. And I'm gonna put the White Dusk logo over here. Okay, so for the rest of this thing, I wanted to have like a melted bottom, a melted base, right? Hmm. Or, hmm. I am wondering how I can make this look cooler because my idea was to just have it like have like little chunks of it like still intact down here, right? So that way it could almost like look like it's moving its legs through the melted segment. No, I'm not so sure. I mean, that would make it more difficult to do like suit actor stuff. I had an idea for how to do its legs, but I don't. Hmm. I was a little attached to the idea of like the melting bottom half, but you know what? I think like normal legs would be a better idea, especially if we're going to for like the idea for like a concept of like could conceivably be like a suit monster. That being said, unfortunately, that does also mean that the abs have to go. I'll give it like a little corset. I think that's the best. I think that's the best I can do. But yeah, anyway, this other arm though, like that's the one that's gonna be on fire. Sometimes I accidentally hit like the number lock on my little 10 keypad, and it is pain and suffering and rage. I don't know how you would translate like a limb being on fire to a suit monster unless you have like a really talented actor. I imagine it would be like you know rubber, like the flames would be like made out of rubber, right? Like it would just look like a perpetual, like it would just look fiery but not actually be on fire. Hmm. Then okay, I think a triangle can go here. Then the little triangle like that is usually the one for fire, right? And like alchemy, right? Alchemy symbol. Alchemy fire. Yeah, spot on. The upright triangle means fire. High five, brain. I did consider giving it like Digitrade legs, right? Like I don't want it to look like too top heavy is the thing. I think the best way to avoid that is to make like this hip thing narrower. Also, I feel like this guy's a little lopsided right now. Let me straighten him up a little bit. Okay, I like the idea of like this plate sticking out of the leg. Yeah. I mentioned, you know, I keep bringing up how important it is to me, like that these could be conceivably like monster suits in like a real Sentai show, but unfortunately, there is also the fact that most of these dudes are like little freaks. So I don't know, like how freakish are they normally? Like my main points of reference are like, you know, Senkaiger, right? For like weird dudes. I had like an encyclopedia of Toku monsters, which has been really helpful. I've been leafing through that one for references and ideas. But you know, I don't know how like I've seen that you can get like pretty freaky little dudes in there by like a large margin. With little finger, I was thinking about like giving it like two little fingernail Pete's, but I think like having just one actually almost like heightens the impact. Hmm. I don't know if this is just like me making all my characters like stubby little dudes again, but I kind of want to make the legs shorter. Yeah, another tragic thing is that like because these guys are supposed to be like rather mindless, I am going to miss out on having like the epic and hilarious trash talk that normally goes on between like the heroes and the monsters. Like the fact that a lot of the heroes are usually like teenage or at least like on the younger side means that they can get real rude to the monsters, and I find that I always think that's super funny when they like do not treat the monsters with like a modicum of respect. Like the hero is like, yeah, you might be threatening my life right now, but I'm still gonna take this opportunity to roast you and your entire monster family. Yeah. I imagine there must have also been like some monster designs in Dawn Brothers, but like I only really started catching parts of that show toward the end. So what ended up happening is that like by that time most of the characters, evil and otherwise, had already been established, and they became like pretty regular appearances. Hmm. Should I like? Okay, I'm going to give it like a little bit of an extra bit of space here to kind of emphasize the fact that this is supposed to be like a canvas covering it. Like maybe it was supposed to be a parachute or something. That would be a good idea. I'm just gonna copy and paste this like and flip it. I'm allowed to do whatever. How are we for time? How long did that take? That took about like 30 minutes. Okay, I think that's a fair amount of time. 30. If it only takes like 30 minutes to draw out one of these guys, especially if it's like the sulfur one, which like I said is kind of like the most. The sulfur one will be like my Everest in this scenario, right? Like it's gonna be the one that's like most difficult for me to like put together because I've had the least amount of time to ruminate on its design. Like, how do I put this? Sometimes when you make a character, you have like you bang out a design in one go and you're like, yeah, this one's it. Like you think about it and you're like, this is the one that I want. This is what they're supposed to look like. First pass, very good, no comment, right? And other times it's like, but what about this? But you kind of agonize because you don't have a clear picture of what they're supposed to be yet. And very often in times like that, I usually cry a little bit. That's solution number one to most of my art related problems. Have a little bit of quality time with the floor and let those emotions sort themselves out. But I think usually it also means that I haven't thought hard enough about like what I want them to be. Like because this thing is just like an initial monster, I haven't thought about like what I wanted it to be too much. So I think that's why I'm having so much difficulty. On the other hand, like because some of the other ones have a much more defined idea, it was easier for me to like go, okay, yeah, this one's going to be the one. Okay, next up, I'm going to color these. I'm going to either color these never or I'm going to color them towards the end. For now, I kind of want to just like make a lineup of little guys. Okay, so next up is Calcite. And I do actually have a reference for this one. Praise be the Lord. And I kind of want to make these like relative to each other, right? Like Calcite is supposed to be like much smaller than Sulfur. In terms of like the character, in terms of like the monster's height, not Sulfur can be bigger than Calcite in real life also, but that's not. It's not a hard and fast rule that Calcite has to be smaller than Sulfur, or Sulfur has to be bigger than Calcite. Is it? Like I said, I don't know anything about chemistry. Anyway, the reason that I have like such what's the word, right? I think it's like idiosyncratic just means like it's unique. It's like a unique way of doing something, but it's still like standard procedure. you know, so idiosyncratic would be, for example, like the spices that that you choose to put in your ramen, right? Like some people might choose to not actually put any spice in it at all, not even the packet, but other people might choose to garnish their cup ramen with, say, a delicious egg, or perhaps some paprika, or some bacon crumble. I don't know. I don't have cup noodle that often. I am proud and somewhat saddened to say cup noodle is tasty, but I don't have it too often, which is good. Which is probably, like I said, it's probably good. My sodium intake is substantial on a good day, so I don't think I need any more than I already get. But yeah, so the reason Calcite has like this duo idea, kind of how I don't actually know what Sulfur's deal is. And also the little triangle is unfortunately starting to cheese me off, so I'm going to remove it from the premises. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's much better. Let's see. Just kind of like vaguely defined abs, whatever. Or it's almost like a shelf. Okay, that works actually. Anyway, the reason that calcite, so like I said, I do base these off of real world substances, right? Like sulfur is a thing that exists in our world. Huge if true, actually. So I best knew sulfur from the fact that it, like, first of all, that it's stinky, and second of all, that it's used in gunpowder and other things. Oh, hell yeah. Hi, Cypress. How's everybody doing? Thank you for your hard work. Welcome to the stream. Hang on. / shout out. And Sipple Tide. Yeah, howdy. How was your stream? I still can't believe that you got like a Mega Evolved Lucario on the fucking randomizer. T-Bulb sweep for life. That I laughed my ass off when that happened. Congratulations on that. You got a legendary! Oh my god. You've got that squirrel luck working for you this time around. That is so funny. like Fione, little event only Pokemon. Yeah, luck of the squirrel. What they don't want to tell you is that a rabbit's foot is only the second luckiest animal appendage in town. Yeah, in reality, most squirrels are, the whole squirrel. You can't. It's a package deal. It's a squirrel, or it's the whole squirrel, or no squirrel. But squirrels are very lucky. Still, that we're hard to catch. That's why we're so lucky. Precisely. Yeah. You ever wonder why the birds never square up when you eat from the bird feeder? The luck. You're never there when they're there. Still, that is so funny. I feel like that's almost like that scene in Zoolander 2 where they're like at the fashion show, like T-Ball was just like kind of like rolling in, and then people suddenly sees Fione popping up out of nowhere. That is phenomenal. This run seems to be like very promising in terms of just how interesting it's been going. I'm happy for you. Let's see. But yeah, I've been making some monster designs, and now we're just sketching them out. This Nuzlocke might be the one. We might have a winner. We might have a winner. Yeah, praying for your success. I don't even know what these little like teardrop claw things are supposed to be. I think I based them off of like Ashalots, but yeah. So this monster here is based on the crystal calcite, which has a neat thing called birefringence, which is that when you shine a light into it, the light will split into two. Yeah. Neat. Interestingly enough, it used to be used for scopes in like World War One and Two because it has like a very good zooming effect because of this. I don't think it's necessarily because of the birefringence, but I remember that calcite is used in a lot of. There's like this very high clarity one, this high clarity thing of calcite called Iceland spar, I believe, and that's what was used in a lot of scopes for rifles up to around World War II, I believe. Can you read that I've read the Wikipedia page? Can you kind of like tell that I've read the Wikipedia page for these guys, kind of cover to cover? It's honestly fascinating when you kind of like find a Wikipedia page for a random material and I'm like, ooh, what's this used for? And then you find out that like it can like purify water or something, but it's like not the most efficient at it, so it's not widely used. Yeah. I remember the funniest kind of pseudo Wikipedia slash, you know, official source, right? For oh, hang on, smooth corner process. Okay, I see. So I remember that when I was young, I read this. I was like super interested in science, right? Like I was like, huh, you know, how hard could it be to become a mad scientist? So little Pabs went and you know, legally acquired some copies of several different scientific books, including there's like this like atlas of different like substances and elements, right? Like it's almost like a scientific almanac. I don't remember the name of the thing, but it's got like a lot of it's got like a big list of different materials and you know their properties. And one of the properties that was discussed in particular for these materials was reactability. So, you know, it kind of noted under which circumstances these materials might react a little explosively. So, you know, it was the usual thing. Like, you know, for potassium, for example, if you exposed it to water, it would actually explode, right? That's just what potassium, or was that sodium? Like pure sodium? I don't remember. Anyway, potassium or sodium, which one of those two. And there's this material called cesium, which is very funny because its entry on like what it reacts to in that book said everything. Cesium is like the explosive element. Like it just wants to party hard is my read on this little guy. Or what I understood at least from the different sources I've gathered over the years. Element of unstable. Yeah, you're like, hey, yeah, you've heard of the table of elements. Now here's the element of unstable. It might be the only literal element of surprise because, well, no, I guess if it explodes with everything, then it's not. Then it's actually rather predictable. Not a particularly surprising element at all. Element to fuck around and find out. God, yeah. Let's see. Something like this. But yeah. Reading about like different chemicals and their uses is just honestly fascinating to me. I love doing that. Okay, I need to turn this around so I can drag this better. There we go. Oh yeah, speaking of explosions, I found out the other day that apparently at one of the Disneylands, one of those like big dragon animatronics they have of Maleficent apparently exploded into a big ball of flame. Exploded might not be the right word. From what I understand, it just caught fire because of the pyrotechnics. Now I've heard about fire-breathing dragons, but this is ridiculous. Oh, no one was hurt. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I read on that too because like I It's always good when something explodes, but nobody get. It's always good when like something catches on fire, like there's like this big thing, but like nobody is hurt. Because like, let's be real, right? If it caught on fire and it's at Disneyland, you know that the wagon was mad insured. Like that, they're going to get millions of dollars back from the insurance policy they had on that dragon. Remember when people used to try and commit insurance fraud by just like setting whatever they insured on fire? Maybe this is like the second advent of that. But instead of, houses or whatever, it's like animatronics that they no longer want. But yeah, God. What theme park ride would I want to see set on fire the most? I don't have that strong of a grudge against any particular theme park or any of the rides. Like, yeah, sometimes the waiting lines are long, but I don't think I've ever wanted like one to explode. I don't have that kind of grudge. God, it reminds me a little bit of like that goat that's in Sweden/Norway, one of those Nordic countries that they try to set on fire each year, but now like they've got it under like maximum security with guarded perimeters and everything. That's still really funny to me. I can't believe it survived last year. Like it had like a live Twitch feed. It would have been the perfect opportunity to set it on fire, but it's not always practical to step up. It's not always practicable to be the guy who sets the goat on fire. Pun intended, but setting a monument on fire usually brings a lot of heat on you. Now, the fun part of designing this guy is going to be deciding whether or not he wears pants or not. I should focus the eye more on the center. Is that too creepy? Is it creepier that he's looking at you? Yeah, the age-old design question. Pants or no pants? Due to my recent Yakuza Kenshin playthrough... Yeah, it's not called Yakuza Kenshin. It's Yakuza Ishin playthroughs. I've been on something of a pro-pants crusade. So I feel like at this point it would be hypocritical to not put pants on it. Let's see, next up on the list is the diamond one. Let me see if I can find that one real quick. I have it around here. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna take a quick sip of water. Oh yeah, speaking of changes and trends, I heard something that's I've been hearing some rumblings lately that I don't know if I should call them encouraging. They're definitely, I think, a good thing. Apparently, there's been a recent increase in the number of people that are going to trade schools. So I think there was called like machines and precision, cooking schools, places like that. Apparently, there's been an uptick in the people who are trying to attend to those schools. And I think that's a really good thing because from what I understand, at least in the US, there's been a huge like skilled labor shortage for a long time now. So I think, trade workers of the world, rise. Yeah, I'm very happy about that because I feel like trade workers make the world go around. As a business major, I'm something of a hypocrite in this regard, but I'm glad to see that that's been making a comeback. And apparently, a lot of what's been driving it is the fact that time was right. You could get a business degree, and you'd be kind of set. You could probably get a job right out of school, but Nowadays, that's really not enough. Like the fields have just become much more competitive. Like I mean, from my personal experience, right? I was job hunting for almost a year before I actually landed anything in my field. I was like, God, please, somebody let me be their accountant, and I finally got a job in that profession, which I'm very happy for. But I think that kind of illustrates, the issues. At least, in general, finding work is fucked, right? Like, labor in general is like very difficult to hunt for. I was lucky enough that like also just the whole thing of like college costs constantly going up and the degree often seen as less valuable, which like yeah, definitely a mess here. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of contributing factors for sure. But yeah, a lot of it is that because a lot of these jobs, right, have like a mentorship component, you can usually expect a job right out of school if you go to a trade school. Not guaranteed, of course. Nothing in life is guaranteed, but it is, much more of a component of the whole thing to, be apprentice and everything. A lot of like I know my school, the university I went to, had a co-op program, which unfortunately I wasn't eligible for. Hashtag immigrant life. But I feel like in a lot of these, you do have like that apprenticeship component, and it makes sense that you'd be able to get a job much faster out of school. So yeah, good for them, honestly. Yeah, get that paper. Okay. Okay, so the diamond actually had like kind of a weird design. Like it had like a headpiece. I'm just very lucky I was able to get an internship into a job and have been able to stick with that for a while. Oh yeah, congrats. Yeah, no. No, I am very lucky to be employed at where I am employed right now. It's not always sunshine and daisies, but it is a far sight better than, like 90% of the other jobs out there. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah. Like, it's very difficult, right? Because like you always have to like obviously art is and probably will be forever my passion, but I don't want it to be my career. And the flip side of that is like I have a career, but it's not exactly my passion. But the fact that it's such a good place to work at makes it so much easier to kind of like get motivated about it. Like having a place where you feel happy working is so vital. It is possible, I promise you. Let's see. Okay, then after that, yeah, it has like a wishbone shape behind this part here, and that's kind of where its eye goes. But yeah, I think like it was like a boost of like 10% to to various industries, more or less. Really feeling that don't make your passion your job for the last few years. Not much energy to work on Sulfur stuff outside of that anymore. Yeah, yeah. It's very easy to get like fickle with like what you do, right? Because like you want to feel good about what you do, but you know, it's very difficult to juggle all of that. That's like being saying like this one thing will make you happy. Unless it's like a gym membership or something. From what I understand, apparently like 90% of the people who say like they're super happy exercise on the regular, but you know, there's no one thing that'll make you happy forever. And sometimes you need breaks from it. Sometimes you need like to shift gears, and you can't really do that with a job. Like with a job, you kind of have to be perpetually on that grind. But with like a little hobby, like this, I can just do what I want. Let's see. I don't know. I'm only 23, right? Like I'm only a 20 something year old. I don't think I have the qualifications to be like to be talking like this just yet. But that's kind of like what I've figured out for myself, at least. That's what's working for me. Now, I've said it many times, and I'll say it again. Being a streamer for art was one of the best decisions I've made because, before I started live streaming art, I found it very difficult to like motivate myself to draw because I was like juggling 5 other things at the time, job hunting and all that. So creating that kind of resistance for myself, creating that obligation made me so much better at being consistent with like drawing and all of that. So I'm really happy that I got into it. Let's see. Yeah, I wish I could recommend that to everybody, but like not that like first of all, not everybody is cut out for live streaming. I know some people definitely don't enjoy enjoy any aspect of it. And also, like for some hobbies, that's kind of impossible. Like Adapt, you mentioned like code development. I know you can probably like turn coding into a live stream, but I don't know how comfortable it would be for someone to code live on camera. I mean, I think I've seen people do that. I've seen people code live on camera, but again, kind of like from my perspective, I'm trying to like imagine myself doing that, and I'm like, a live coding stream sounds like hell. God, could you imagine if like you're live streaming something and like you've run into a bug and somebody starts heckling you? Imagine getting heckled for coding. I wouldn't recover. Then again, I'm not a code person, a codesman. You forgot the bracket, you fool! Hey everybody, this idiot forgot to add the slash 2 spaces back. Everybody pointed and laugh. Kind of like that. God, that would be hell. I mean, hell, if somebody started heckling me while I'm drawing, well, first of all, I'd block them because I hold the power here. But I think I would be just straight up flabbergasted at first. God, give me the strength to draw this straight line. Please. There we go. I don't think that's exactly straight, but I don't really care no more. Oh no, it's super crooked. Does the CFSP not have the hold shift align? It does, but like, Actually, because I'm doing the millipen, that doesn't actually really matter. I should have done the hold shift align one. Yeah, you're right. Yep, Pearl's got this one. I should have tried hold shift align. Listen, sometimes the only problem with being faster than light is that you only live in darkness. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Like I have like a multi-thread processor brain, and sometimes it does 500 IQ strategies so deep that it forgets like the obvious solution. It's one of my charm points. Yeah, that's true. Everybody does do art differently. Yeah, I've had this happen a couple times though. Like it is a running theme. I do remember one time I was trying to like draw like a can or a cylinder of some kind, and I was like struggling with it until a friend of mine reminded me that I could just like draw two circles and then a line, and that would solve the issue. And I'm like, you're a genius. And he's like, no, I think you just forgot. And it's true, I did forget. That being said, all right, this guy. I, Oh, hey Ben, how's it going? Yeah, I'm not gonna give this guy a belt. I am, however, going to give it abs. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. It'd be going. Oof. One of those days, huh? Well, pull up a chair. It, every day can't be a good day, but there's something good in every day, etc. God. Something that happened to me recently, something that happened to me recently that I thought that actually made my day a lot better is this. I was at a McDonald's the other day, right? I was ordering burger, etc., as you do at this place, and I was waiting for my order. And as I was waiting for my order, this dude went to pick up like an online order, right? And he looked young, like he looked like he could be like, yeah, Bernger. Like he looked like about my age or probably younger, right? Like he looked like he could have conceivably still been like, yeah, he looked like fairly young. And he goes up to the person serving food and he says, "Hey, do you guys have any bibs?" And immediately alarms start going off in my head because first of all, I've never seen somebody ask for a bib at a McDonald's, right? It just ain't done. And second of all, this dude had for sure the vibe of like a dude who like pranks people in real life and thinks it's really funny when it's actually just kind of rude. Like, he had like he had that vibe about him. It's not good to cast judgment, but he had that vibe about him, right? So immediately I like get on my guard in case some shit's about to go down. The cashier naturally is also very confused. He's like, a what? Like she asked him to repeat himself, and he's like, a bib, like those things that like babies wear, and like they have them right over there, and like he points to a random table which is empty. And I'm thinking, this guy is trolling. This guy for sure has to be trolling. And she's like, I don't know if we have those. And he's like, please check on the back. The Yakuza baby fetishist guys escaped containment. No, but wait. Because after he asked her to check in the back, she's like, okay, why not? She goes out. And she comes back with 4 plastic bibs. Hi, Nate the Hog. She comes back with 4 actual, honest-to-God, plastic bibs that you could like put on a baby. Yeah, plastic. Well, they are disposable, right? Like they have these plastic bibs that you would put on a baby. And he's like, oh yeah, those were perfect. Those were exactly what I was looking for. And the lady is almost as flabbergasted as I am at this point. She's like, I've worked here for 4 years and I've never had to get these. We have like a stack of them in the back. What the fuck? And internally, I assume I'm going, what the fuck? I did not know you could get plastic bibs at McDonald's. I didn't know that was a thing you could do. I did not know that was a service / commodity that they provided. I keep deleting the frame by accident. This is my bad. Yeah, what kind of the McDonald's secrets? They want you to think that the biggest secret in the McDonald's is contained within the sauce, but no. The fact is that McDonald's, in fact, was never a restaurant at any point. It was and always has been an infant supply store. I still have no idea what to do for Diamond's legs. Like in all of them, they end up like these like very spindly like uh, like like insect things, like little insect things. But yeah, apparently you can get bibs at McDonald's, and he seemed pretty happy with the quality too. But everything about the entire situation swept me off my feet because again, I mentioned this guy looked about my age. He was not the kind of guy I was expecting to be like old enough to to perhaps be a father looking for like bibs for their child. Like I think was like caught me off guard the most because like I thought for sure the guy was trolling. Thank you for the follow, Nate the Hog. But no, he was dead serious. One of these shoulders is a lot bigger than the other. That's not going to work. I mean, for all I know, he could have actually just been one of those Yakuza baby guys. I don't know his life. That's between him and God. Let's see. Does this guy actually need legs? Yes, he does. He needs legs. Okay, I've got an idea. Instead of, because this guy's supposed to be a diamond, right? Instead of having like the point, oh no, but he needs the point there. Like it needs to have like that kind of diamond shape. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him back the belt, make it look like this. Kind of like how a ring has like the gold band around it. Yeah, okay, this will work. This will work. I've been actually trying to read through some of the Andrew Loomis books recently, right? And what surprised me is the stick figures that he used for those books, because the stick figure normal, a lot of people have like a lot of different styles to their stick figures. Like mine looks a little bit like this, right? Like if I'm just doing like a figure for drawing, I kind of tend to do it like this a little bit, right? Sometimes I add a little thing here in case they like need to be turned a certain direction or something. That's what mine looks like. Obviously, you can go much more simple as well, right? Like you can go like this. Like you don't even need that shoulder line. I prefer to have it if I'm doing like super simple stick figures. But the one that he used is actually very interesting. That Andrew Loomis used is actually very interesting because he has a very similar torso to the one that I used, right? You've got the chest cavity, you've got the pecs and everything, but right around here, instead of having like a block, he actually has two circles which represent the pelvis. And the legs kind of like stick out like this and then like this. Like it's much more skeleton based than normal. And I think that's a really big brain idea. I don't know if I'll be able to adapt it like particularly quickly, but I think that's good looking that's good looking out. Because I feel like the block often, pardon the pun, it blocks progress more often than not. Like I feel like if I rely on the block too much, like because it's almost too much of a reduction of the shape. It becomes difficult for me to understand where I'm supposed to be going with it. So yeah, I think I'm going to try to adapt to the double hoop style now. Yeah, new age. This is a brand new frontier. I'm stepping foot where no bag of rice has stepped foot before. Well, really, that's everywhere because I'm the world's first animated bag of rice, as far as I know. There could have been ones before me. You know, I may not be original, but I'm for sure the best. Except no substitutes my ass. Let's see. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. Let's see. I want this thing to look very strong, so I'm going to give it massive quads. I feel like the legs have to be very short, though. I think like that's going to complement the design. Leg day every day, precisely. The funniest thing is that I haven't drawn the arms yet, but this thing has like massive, like gorilla arms as well. So it having eensy teensy little like baby legs is so funny to me. Hang on. Whoa, wait, no, hang on. Why is it behaving like that? It's super weird how like some object manipulation works in CSP. It fascinates me and torments me at the same time. Then over here, I should have grabbed the symmetry tool just for occasions like this. These are just supposed to be sketch stages, though. Eldritch knowledge that cannot truly be understood. For real. No, honestly, what's Eldritch knowledge to me about CSP is to this very day still gradient maps. I just to me those are like the equivalent. Like you guys know how like in Warhammer 40k they have like dudes who basically like pray to like their V8 engine and hope that it starts up and like pretend that like oiling it is a holy ritual, like like that. I feel like that's me with the gradient, with the what do you call it? The gradient mapping. Like I can understand how to initiate it. I understand the principles behind it. For the life of me, cannot understand how it works. Like from what I understand, it uses the values in the drawing to kind of align those to the gradient. But how exactly it does that is a mystery to me. And also perspective. Perspective is to this day a mystifying force. I did actually get myself a book on perspective that seems kind of interesting. I'll have to read through it some other time, though. the good thing about so many books that are about like comics and cartoons is that a lot of them are formatted like comics and cartoons, so it's actually very easy to get through them for me. Like a solid wall of text, could be a little daunting, even if it's something that I enjoy. But if it's like a comic page, I know I can tear through that sucker in 8 seconds. I read somewhere that like the average reader spends around 3 seconds per panel reading, right? Depending on the number of panels in a page, that might mean that that the page that you took like a day plus of work to make. Assuming you're like working on like a manga time scale, but or like a week plus to make if you're working on like a webcomic scale. It takes them about 8 seconds to read. That was one of those like pills that I had to take very early on, and was it bitter? And the worst part is that I can't even be super mad about it because I know that I'm also guilty of this issue. The speed reader is in this very room with us. Okay. I've read 30 issues of a Hulk comic run in the past 24 hours. Oh yeah, you've been posting caps of the Immortal Hulk, right? I've been meaning to read that one as well. Or less than that? Yeah, I mean, past a certain point, it's hard to keep track, right? Yeah, I've heard really good things from Raph about the Immortal Hulk, so I've been meaning to get around to reading it myself. From the screen caps you've been posting, though, it looks really good. Like it looks like it has some really interesting ideas. Okay. Big ol' smashy fists. It's pretty solid so far. Really strong opening, kind of a weak middle, but getting there. It leans more into the horror aspect of the Hulk. Yeah, that's what Raph told me. Yeah. I really like it when like stuff is creepy for no discernible reason. Like I like with the new Ultraman, right? Like they've been talking for Ultraman Blazar. I've never seen an Ultraman series, right? I remember watching along to that like special mini series that like V and J hosted a while back, but I've never actually seen an Ultraman series. But I know that the new one that's called like Blazar or something is apparently supposed to lean into the fact that like Ultraman is a being from outer space. Ultraman is a Toku series I've never delved into. Yeah. It's weird, right? Like because I mentioned this before, like the entire reason I've made these guys is because I made like a Toku I made like a Toku version of Pabs, right? And I've also made like a Toku version of like the Bucket Nemesis tool. I've made a Toku version of Rice Beast. The one that I still haven't made like a Toku version, and like all those are based on I'm based on Sentai. Tool is based off of Kamen Rider, and Rice Beast's form is based off of like Metal Heroes. I haven't watched Metal Heroes either, but like I haven't made one yet that's like none of the characters yet fit into the mold of like Ultraman, which I feel like is a little bit I don't know, like it feels weird that I haven't touched that. I feel a little bit bad, particularly because like I know there's this one series called Taro Man, which has like a superhero that looks a lot like Ultraman. Let me see if I can pull it up. A picture of it. Yeah, here we go. This dude. So this guy's head is based on that sun tower that was made for the 1980s Japan International Exposition or something like that. Yeah, I've never seen this dude before. He rules. Yeah, I think like he had like a little mini series based off of him. Yeah, here we go. This is the Tower of the Sun on the left here, and this is Taro Man on the right. I think it's supposed to. He has like a little mini series, but it's supposed to be like one of those like very introspective ones. I haven't heard much about it. Right, like Raph told me about it a little bit. I was interested in like looking through it, but he he's supposed to be based. I feel like he's supposed to be based off of Ultraman to some extent. You know, big monster, red and silver suit. I feel like that's what they were going for. But yeah. Let's see. There we go. Heaven help me, I'm fighting with a thumb. I'm having some difficulty wrestling this thumb. God, I one of the lines that I still remember from Disco Elysium, like a lot of lines from Disco Elysium will haunt me for a long time. But one of the ones that are really funny that I still remember frequently is "Mother help me." There's my head is attached to I'm okay. No, what is it like? My head is attached to a body and I'm in it. Something like that. Hmm. My head is attached to a body and I'm in it. That's the one. Don't forget that the lizard brain voice is implied to be what Harry actually sounds like. Ah, yes, the one that sounds like it's constantly eating gravel. Yeah, the one that sounds like that. God. That's what he just normally sounds like. No wonder everybody's terrified of him. Yeah, this cool for a game that has like that is so strong throughout all of it. The fact that Disco Elysium's opening is still some of the strongest ever is marvelous. And now I'm just gonna copy and paste this and flip it over. Let's see. Copy and flip. It's one of the best narrative RPGs I've played. I'm slightly disappointed by the ending, but apart from that, it is stellar. The ending, the ending of Disco Elysium feels. I don't know how to put it. Like, I had a tough time with the ending because I actually never managed to get the conversation with the statement redacted organism, right? Like I failed to check for that. And so I feel like I just got I just got weirded out by a dude, and then left, and suddenly my coworkers are there pointing fingers and judging me, and I guess I'm still a police officer? Question mark. Yeah, I was so busy getting a good grade in Kim that I forgot to. Yeah, question mark. I was so preoccupied with getting a good grade in Chem, something that is both normal to want and possible to achieve, that I forgot to buff some of the stats that I would actually need and do some of the side quests that I needed to actually do that, because I actually missed the side quest where you learn all about the creature. So I ended up. My beef with this is how they went about the structure of a murder mystery. You don't introduce someone who's just conveniently the killer at the very end with no build-up. Yeah, I feel like that is true. Like, I think I understand where you're coming from for that, because I do feel like the introduction of the person name redacted feels very sudden. Its arms need to be bigger. To be fair, I don't know what would have been a satisfying ending to the murder mystery. Because, the person who we thought was, one of the suspects we were chasing didn't turn out to be the murderer. And I think like that was almost a twist I saw coming. But then you can learn about the island earlier in the game, but you can't visit it until literal endgame. Therefore, you can't learn about the subject. Oh, yeah, that's true. If you would have gotten a little bit of more access to the island, I feel like, and gotten some of the clues there. Oh, you know what might have been an interesting idea is that maybe instead of like the whirling in rags, if you have no money to stay at the inn at the end of the day, what they should have been able to let you do is like Harry just fucking goes on a rampage, goes beast mode, swims to the island and sleeps there. And, after that you unlock it as a base of operations. But, shit starts moving around in there, when you're not there. And you're like, wait, is someone else on this island? And I feel like that would have been a much better twist. I feel like that might have been a more interesting idea. But the thing is, like, having the whirling in rags as a base of operation helps for the event name redacted to have much more impact, because again, the big twist there, right, is that a place that you thought was safe is not nearly as safe as it seems. And, that's also true for the confrontation of the whirling in rags. That would have fixed my problem with the ending? Yeah. Is it missing something? I feel like... No, it should have everything. Yeah, I feel like you should have gotten more. I feel like you should have gotten more out of the HoboCop thought cabinet thing than just being able to sell tear for more money. I feel like that would have been a good trade-off for having the HoboCop thought. I also feel like the confrontation with Redacted should have taken place on the island proper. That would have been rather poetic, right? I think I could see how that would like have good thematic buildup as well, because like it would also because like very much the everything after the event name redacted felt like it was a denouement, right? Like it was the like everything was winding down, like everything was being understood after all, and because of that, because you no longer had to switch locations from the whirling in rags to the island. If you hadn't had to do that whole little like extra investigative side thing, I feel like it would have been a much smoother transition. Let's see. I'm still not in love with the legs. Wait, no, hang on. I think I've got it. This thing looks like it was built to do the Dr. Livesey funk walk. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think that works a lot better. I feel like that borrows the shape of the diamond a little bit better than the other one did. You know, having those segmented legs. Gonna drop this guy down just a little bit. There we go. How are we for time? I think I should... Should I try to color these guys, or should I try to do like one more design? Because I think at this point I have the either or option. I could either do one more guy, or I could do like colors for these guys. I say one more couldn't hurt. Let's start on a new layer. Oh, streaming horse stance, huh? Been a while since I've seen that one whipped out. All right, let's get it. Let's see. 3 minutes should be good. Let's see. That's right, horse stance. Let's see. Where's my browser source? If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right. Here we go. Okay, so the idea behind stream and horse stance is as follows. I am going to raise my desk a little bit, and I'm going to be drawing horse stance style. Going to be drawing in a horse stance for around 3 minutes. All right, let me actually lower my desk a little. All right, here we go. Okay, so the next guy we're going to draw is probably going to be the Corundum guy. So, I don't... Oh, I forgot that this is... hang on. I forgot that also opens to the browser source. So, Corundum... what does that mean? Hang on. Corundum? Wait, what do you mean, what does that mean? Like, are you talking about the horse stance style, or are you talking about, like, Corundum? Because Corundum is a type of material that is notable for its ability to grind things. So this guy has a very similar idea behind him. But basically, for the next 3 or so minutes, I'm going to be, like, drawing in horse stance. If you don't know what horse stance means, this guy's actually kind of in a similar stance to it. It basically just means that you've got your legs kind of spread out like this, and it looks like you're riding a horse, basically. Usually, you have your fists tucked to the side like this. But yeah, horse mode engaged. I can feel it. I'm becoming a horse. I want carrots, hay, and sugar cube. If I break my leg, I will die. I'm capable of becoming glue. I will be a maniac for no reason. Horses are such a weird animal, to be honest. My thoughts are of hay. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the effects. Oh shit, I'm feeling it. Tachyon. That's right, I think I'm feeling it. Tachyon. Also, fuck it, I'm using the symmetry tool for this. I don't care. We are in the last minute, by the way, so, like, this isn't gonna be, like, a debilitating kind of thing. It is rather strenuous, so... Like, I'm not gonna play the tough guy and pretend like this isn't, like... I'm not gonna pretend like my legs aren't shaking a little bit. But this, too, is training. How much longer is that? 22 seconds? Okay. But yeah, I'm feeling the effects. I'm becoming like a horse. Me wants salt lick. Yeah, exactly. I may suffer now, but my power grows. What else do horses do? I want to gallop. Oh, that's the timer. Alright, let me get rid of the browser source. Getting out of it is always the hardest part. Whew. Anyway, back to the grind. I did hear browser sources browser horse after that. Yeah. Mozilla's brand new addition to their product is Mozilla Firehorse. Yeah, in a controversial move, they made the very first web browser capable of being written on. Rapidash. Honestly, the only famous horse that I know of, I know there were like a lot of famous historical horses, right? Like, I think for the Paladins, right? Like in the Legend of the Paladins, there was a horse named Veyantif, which was the horse of Roland. But the one that I think of the most when I think of like famous horses is the horse that Lubu Fengshan rode, called Red Hair, which was apparently just a really big fuck off horse. Which is appropriate because Lubu Fengshan was just a really big fuck off kind of dude. Listen, you don't get to be famous for your treachery in the Three Kingdoms era by being someone easily fucked with. Let's see if I can find like a drawing of Red Hair. I know there's like a Fate Grand Order version of it, but Red Hair. Let's see. Oh, here's a statue of it from a Wikipedia page. Realizing I don't actually know any historical horses, I just know shadow facts from Lord of the Rings. I mean, Lord of the Rings is kind of like history if you think about it. But yeah, this is Red Hair. This Lu Bufengshan rode this horse in 193 during a battle in Changshan, in which he helped another warlord, Yuan Shao, defeat his rival Zhang Yan. It was described as very powerful and capable of galloping across cities and leaping over moats. So yeah, apparently that was one fire horse. Yeah, if I ever had to name a web browser, I would name it after Red Hair. You know, Firefox currently seems to have the vice grip on the furry market on account of the fact that it's one of the only web browsers that has like an animal for a mascot. You know, Opera has been making moves recently trying to have a VTuber for a mascot, but that's, you know, I feel like if it was done in such a way that it's very obviously like out and out pandering. You know, do you guys? This is gonna hurt some of you to remember. Do you guys remember when everybody will like made sexy fan art of like the Wendy's mascot? Like I think they were hoping for that kind of thing to happen, but like they try to induce it inorganically. The Wendy's mascot thing was just a bunch of freaks letting their flags fly, but the opera thing feels like orchestrated, coordinated. The opera thing feels like a psyop. I don't know why. The Wendy's mascot thing and Hex Maniac for me are just like inescapably intertwined. Let's see. Please don't remind us of the Dark Ages. If I have to remember them, you guys have to remember them with me. We are in this shit together. Live streaming is a participative medium. All right, shift line. Thanks again, Cypress. God. I do apologize to some extent for that. Nobody needs to remember that. I mean, Hex Maniac I can understand in the in with our modern sensibilities. The Wendy's thing is still fucking mystifying to me. Let's see. Wendy's was corporately caused? Wait, for real? I got. Hang on. Now, if I Google Wendy's mascot origins, is it gonna do something bad to my web browser history? I need to think of. Yeah. I need to think strategically about how to research this. One wrong move and I could end up staring at something unspeakable. Something that I could never unsee with my non-existent eyes. I'll have my people look into that. And by my people I mean Rice Beast. I don't tell you guys this, but Rice Beast does a lot of unpaid labor around the channel. You know, they research, you know, they do my research for me. They get me coffee sometimes. I hope that the little bit furry bastards never learn how to unionize, or else it's fucking over for me. God, what if your channel mascot started unionizing against you? I would be fucked. Do you know how strong? Don't worry, the Acorn minions are too dumb to know what unions are. Yeah. I don't know. The Rice Bees would have a lot of bargaining power on account of their extremely sharp teeth. Oh, speak of the devil. Hey, Rice Bees. Hey, we weren't talking about you just now. Don't you worry about this. Oh shit, there's multiple of them? Am I getting ousted as a CEO live on stream? They're unionizing as we speak. You guys wouldn't do me like that, would you? Their silence is deafening. Uh-oh. Hang on. I gotta make sure they don't cover the captions. Oh no, they're technically not covering the captions. But this is also bad. Okay, let's see. How about... Alright, let me pin my tablet to myself. Kerberos. There we go. This should be manageable. Let's see. Okay, I think this works actually. Hang on. I'm glad I turned on the symmetry tool though. That was a big brain move. I should have done that from the start. I have 10,000 points to spend. I could summon as many rice beasts as I want. Buried in the beasts. I mean, I shan't, but I know I could. Yeah, 10,000 points gets you a lot of power around here. The rice economy isn't exactly very. The rice economy is very strong, so like the channel point goes very far here. Yeah, you just like thumb your finger over the drown him in rice beasts button in your head. Not today, but perhaps someday. The fact that you have that power over me is what makes it for you, I think. You know, by not spending those points, you're spending those points on the privilege of knowing you could do this to me. I think that's the trade-off here. When you're hoarding, when you hoard channel points, you're not hoarding, that the potential. You're hoarding. You're essentially spending them by investing that potential. The day you do an endurance stream, I will unleash them at your darkest hour. Oh boy. I've always said the important thing about threats is to make them credible, and I 100% believe you would do that. Well, may the best bag of rice win. I will accept this challenge at the appointed time, if I am called. Seriously though, please do that. It would be so funny. I thought about getting what do you call that? One extension that lets you throw stuff at the streamer. Twitch integrated throwing system. I'm not gonna call it the acronym name because I think that would be funnier. I thought about getting that, but I realized it's not a great idea to like when I already have such a punchable face. I'm adorable, but I do have a very punchable face. It's not a great idea to enable that for the viewers. Let's see. People like to bully the streamer. This is true. But God help me, I will retain at least a shred of my dignity while this happens. I think the main way I try and do that is to just have a massive ego. That's what you got. That's how you do it. That's how you handle tough situations like people liking to bully the streamer. You have to have that ego. You have to have that Wario grind set. Even if you get knocked down and kicked around, you're still number one. My kind of like idea of like ego is that one dude from that Fatboy Slim album, on the cover of that one Fatboy Slim album, that has a shirt that says like number one, so why try harder? Like I feel like that's the definition of a healthy ego. Or at least that's kind of like my ideal of like an ego, right? Let me see if I can't find a picture of that. I think the album is called like Praise You. Yeah, here we go. Oh, you've come a long way, baby. It's the name of the album. But yeah, this is the shirt that I'm talking about. That's the kind of attitude you gotta have to make it in this world. It's a really good shirt. Yeah. It's everything about the outfit. The cigarette, the watch, the absolute expression of like self-contented contempt for whoever's taking the picture. Very powerful. There we go. I honestly really liked doing the kind of like weird, uh, windy crystal things for this guy. Like these like little pathways here. If you've ever seen a picture of Corundum, it actually has like some very beautiful patterns on it. So let me actually Google that. Oh no, it's not Corundum, it's just Corundum. But yeah, like if you look at that, it's got some interesting like shapes to it. And I think like those, it reminded me a lot of like Starry Night for some reason. Yeah, especially like these little like bright yellow seams here. I think that's kind of what I wanted to do. Like it's almost like that kintsugi thing. I'm gonna give it some slightly thicker arms. Yeah, because Corundum had a very similar kind of hardness to Diamond, I actually kind of made their designs very alike on purpose for that reason. It might need some more time in the oven because it doesn't have like the same metal supports that the other ones had. But I do think that works in its favor. It's just fun to make weird dudes. It's fun for me to make a dude. Plus my rice beat got an attitude. I still think about the original line of that of that freestyle from time to time. Who was I before I heard that? Who was I before I heard like that freestyle? Okay, there we go. Okay. And actually, you know what I think would make it better is if this thing actually had almost like a pickaxe kind of base. Like this. I need to turn on the symmetry ruler before anything else. Okay, yeah, that actually looks a lot better. I like that. And you know, I think yeah. Removing that little part there helped a lot, I think, as well. Alright, I think that's a wrap for today. Let's see if we can't line these guys up. Almost. Well, I'll figure it out in time for me to post it on the Twitter. Oh, wait, no, hang on. I've got an idea for how to do this. Perhaps it'll work. No, I have to keep it the same size. Fuck it, get rotated. I'll flip him right back around soon, but alright, that looks good. I think that's a good effort. I still need to figure out how to incorporate like these metal tubes into this guy's design. Like maybe with some of these cracks here I can do that. But other than that, I think we've done good work today. Let me see if there's anybody we can raid. I imagine there's at least, I think there's at least a couple people streaming today. Okay, we're gonna raid BZ. I will be back on Thursday with some fan art. Thank you all for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thanks again, Pearl, for the raid, and I will see you all later. Bye.